Hello, Adelaide. How are you? Happy Thursday. I believe it's Thursday, the 3rd. I'm a day behind. Probably about a week behind, but a day behind. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Patty Wonder. I used to live in New Zealand, and I lived there for 16 years thanks to internet dating. And I started my business there in 2015 when they launched. And I moved back to America in 2022 and had to leave all 900 of my customers in region 3 because you can only sell within your region, and start over from scratch in region 1. Now, I hadn't been home for 16 years, so I really didn't know many people. I did, with intent, work social media and go digging for like people that I was friends with on Facebook, but we weren't like communicating regularly. So I just was real intentional about connecting with them and commenting on their photos and trying to bridge those relationships again, because I didn't want to come home and have like nobody but my family to hang out with. Like, sometimes it's really nice to live 3,000 miles away from your family. I'm just saying. And now, for almost what I can remember, the first time in my life, I'm living with my mother, and I'm 52. So there's lots of changes that happened, and a lot of mental stuff I had to go through that first year that I was back. I'm in my 3rd year back. I didn't realize, people kept saying, "Oh, you're part Kiwi now, you're part Kiwi now." And I kept going, "Nope, I'm American." Well, do we want to be American right now? Anyway, sorry. But I really am part Kiwi. I didn't really realize it until I was here. And I say words all the time and people go, "What?" I messaged my friend the other day and I said, "Oh, we can suss it out later." And she went, "Suss?" So, thank you for inviting me to be part of this. I have to tell you, since I left Region 3, Australia in particular has been fucking amazing to me. Not just inviting me to speak at these events and things like that, but literally the friendships that stayed connected and who I literally love with all my heart, like family. And so when I was asked to be a surprise guest, I said, of course, because anything for family. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is I am so proud of all of you, and I'm going to give you a high five and respect for attending this event. You have chosen to be a willing participant. Lord, you too can be a director. You are a willing participant of the Hypergrowth 3.0 that is coming. What does that mean? Well, we had COVID, and when COVID hit, it changed our businesses. It changed our businesses so much that we were crazy. All we had to do was post and people bought it because people were at home sitting on their phones. But anybody that came into the business during that time had no idea how to do Sensi the proper way, if you will, which was human connection. Now, I'm an introvert. I'm going to say that, like, as a caveat to everything I'm saying. I prefer to stay home with my cat in the dark, watching movies and playing on my computer and coloring and those kind of things. However, I knew coming back, I couldn't be that way. I had to force myself to get really uncomfortable, to feel the fear and do it anyway, to just be really intentional every time I left the house. And I think we're in that part again, because now that hypergrowth is over, we're kind of in a dip. And I went to leadership in Cancun in January, and this was amazing. When you guys get to director and above, I highly recommend it. I know it's pricier, I get it. But even when I was in New Zealand and I went to leadership, it was always my favorite event of the year because the conversations are very different. And they drop some fucking amazing and gobsmacking statistics right? If you listen to Dan's webinar after all that hit the fan, if you haven't, you really should. I'm assuming that if you're at this event, you have. And so we are the future of Scentsy. We are the next 20 years of Scentsy. We are different than other sales companies. Why? Lots of reasons. But first, our owners, Heidi and Orville, are the only owners of Scentsy. There are no investors. There's nobody that can be like, yeah, I don't like how this is going. We're going to pull the plug. We're not giving you our money. Scentsy doesn't have, they have a small bit of debt that they could completely obliterate if they had a flash sale. They had chosen to take on this debt. So they're not in the red. They're a healthy company. We are growing and we are making a profit. Even if it's a little one, it's still a profit, right? Because if you made $100 last month, but up to this point you made 90, you'd know it was still growth, right? So I have been in Scentsy for 10 years. In this March was my 10-year Scentiversary. And I can tell you, I have been in many direct sales companies before this. I'm kind of a job gypsy. I hate working for other people. I prefer to be self-employed, but I've tried it with other companies and you end up sinking more money in it than you make usually. Scentsy was the first thing that was easy to sell to everybody. And I always say you can sell Scentsy to a prostitute, or you can sell it to a nun, or you can sell it to a child. Like, there is something literally for everyone. So there's not many things. I've done makeup. Yeah, that's my background as well, in hair. But I have done a lot of makeup and skincare. That's my wheelhouse, really. It's a creative thing. And I've done a lot of like, I'll just say creative memory, Stampin' Up, things like that. So I am in that creative realm of things. So when Scentsy came around, I was just like, oh, they need this here in Region 3 because the candle selection was awful. My man that I moved to New Zealand for was hated candles, hated them. He didn't trust his balance, so he was afraid he's gonna burn the house down. Anyway, so we have, and here's something just as a side note that I've learned after moving to Region 1, after living in Region 3 for the first 8+ years of my Scentsy business. It is a lot easier to sell Scentsy in Region 3 than it is in Region 1. And you're all like, bullshit. Oh my gosh. I have shown my team, I do a lot of pet sitting. I chose to be child free. So I do a lot of pet sitting. And in every house, there's a cabinet or a closet or a drawer or something that has wax melts and candles in it. And these plug-in things from Bath & Body Works. Oh, I hate that place. Anyway, I always know I can convert them if I can just give them enough to try it. So I converted a lot of people so far. So any pet sitting house gets left Scentsy and samples and catalogs and the whole thing, because I'm like, no, we're not doing this anymore. But what the point of it was that you can go anywhere to any store and you can get things like washer whiffs, but I think they're like here they're called something else. And I saw somebody in Region 3, so they made their way to Region 3 now, those laundry fragrance boosters for your laundry. Wax melts. You have the people that are ripping off Scentsy and hopefully get shut down at like craft shows and vendor events and markets and stalls and things like that are soy, that don't do the same thing. I remember I had people drift and buy things like that and then come back and go, oh my God, not the same. They don't even come close. I'm like, no, Scentsy is the best scent and the best scent throw-in quality in the world for wax melt. So there you are. And so, but what I showed my team was every single clamshell had a 50-cent tag on it. Because you can go into stores and there's bins and bins and bins of sale wax. 50 cents, $1, whatever. Tons of it. And I took them to stores and I went through and I videoed the selection of wax melts and candles in a store, in many stores actually, just to give them idea. Because when I left, before I was leaving New Zealand, they said, oh, your business is going to explode and it's going to be so much easier there and blah, 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 blah. Au contraire. It is not. I have found it is so much easier. It is double the price in New Zealand and it was so much easier to sell than it is here. Like it's because there's so much competition and people are cheap, especially where I live. I live somewhere where I said I would never live again, but you do what you gotta do. And so my goal is to get the hell out, of course. So that's my why now. And so, but I really want to just paint a picture. That saying, the grass is always greener on the other side, is the wrong one. And the grass is always greener where you water it is the right one. The other thing that Heidi had talked to us about was the reason when you feel like blah about Scentsy, or you feel disconnected from Scentsy, or it doesn't give you that vroom that you used to have, like remember when you started, remember when you got your kit, remember when things were really ramped up. It's never going to be that way all the time, because it's business, and it's the world, and things happen in the world, right? But my rule of thumb is do what you can when you can with what you have. So what can you do today? And can you, for at least 15 minutes a day, do something for your business? Now, most people will do busy work that's fun to do, which is fine. I always say I allow myself to do those kind of things once I've done the hard things, including watching TV, because I love binge watching TV. However, I don't allow myself to watch TV until I've done my work. So it's like a prize, because when you're self-employed, you have to figure out a way to make yourself work even on days you don't want to, because I'll tell you, there's more days that you don't want to than the days that you do. However, if you have a strong enough why, like what is your why? Does your why make you cry? Does your why make you nauseous? Do you get sick to your stomach at the thought of not achieving your goals? If not, it's not your why. You need to feel it in your core, or it is not going to get your ass out of bed in the morning. Another thing that has always helped me, and I used to have a life-size stand-up of Heidi and Orville in my bedroom. A cardboard cutout from when they did world tours and things like that. But then they came out with a small one. So there's a small one in my room now, because I donated the big one when I left New Zealand to somebody else on my team. And I look at them every day and go, yeah, I'm getting up. Yeah, I gotta make mom and dad proud. Now, I recently found out I think I'm the same age as them, so that's weird. But anyway, to me, they're still mom and dad. So, but we are responsible for where Scentsy goes in the future. And we have to pull our finger, as you say over there, and get our asses in gear again and find our joy, find the fun, find the connection. Because really, once you have the connection, everything is better. You start feeling jaded or burnt out or bored with or disgruntled or whatever. All those things seep in when you aren't connected and engaged in what's going on. Because as soon as you attend training calls or watch trainings on Facebook from the various groups, or the all consultant call, you feel connected and you feel like you're part of something. Attending an event like this, for instance, magic. Get everybody to attend these, because especially people that have never attended an event. And if, for God's sakes, if you can go to SFR, please, for the love of all that's holy, please go to SFR. Please, 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 please. I don't care if you have to go alone. I don't care if you have to room with 6 people to keep the cost down. You do what you have to do until you don't have to do that anymore. And you can room by yourself, right? So I feel like I have some notes written down, but I'm just like talking at the moment. But my point is that you and your leaders that put this amazing event together we are in charge of bringing Region 3 back from tumbleweeds, because Region 3 has been a little sleepy. I feel like they're getting ready to get ready, but they've been doing that for about a year or two. So I feel like it went sleepy all of a sudden after I left, and the energy's not the same, and the electricity is not the same, and the conversations aren't the same, and we need to bring that back. We need to kick some ass in Region 3. 98% of my team is still Region 3. Even my reinstatements, Region 3, right? So I very much am invested in Region 3. When I go to, like next week, I'm going to home office. On Sunday, I go to home office. I speak for Region 3. I do not speak for Region 1. I speak for Region 3, first and foremost, always and forever. Because there's enough people talking for Region 1. I don't care. They don't need the help. But Region 3 does need a voice. And so I'm the big mouth with the pink hair that has the voice. So you kind of have an idea about my story. If you went to World Tour, which I'm hoping you did, because if you went to this, I'm assuming you probably went to World Tour. But even the theme of that was, what was it? It was Bud, Bloom, Blossom. It's about growing. So right now you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to do the hard things. You have to do the consistent hard things. And you have to create habits and routines so that when life happens, there's momentum there to carry you through. And when something happens, whatever, you're good and you still have that trajectory going. I am not a gardener, but I do know that if you plant a seed and you water it, tomorrow it's not a sunflower. You have to be consistent. It needs sun, it needs care, it needs taking care of, it needs all these things, right? Your business is exactly the same. Are you using Sensi Connect to follow up? You know, the first thing that acquiring, I'll talk about that first so I don't go completely off. I'm trying to look at my clock here too. Customer acquisition. We need to get more customers. And the only way that happens is the easy way is parties, because it's easier to talk to 10 people at once than it is to talk to one at a time. It goes a lot quicker, right? So for the first 2 years of my business, I was doing 2 to 4 parties a week. And that's how I grew my business and became a director in 7 months. It was kind of an accident, but I enjoy getting charms. So I just worked for charms. If you're not working for charms or you're not working for trips, that's not your game. You have to figure out what it is, but I'm very prize motivated. So, but new customer acquisition. So when I came home, I knew my mom and her friend had agreed to get a location. And then I just put an event out and said, you know, I'm coming back and I really would like to meet new people and I have to start my business over from scratch. So I would love to meet you. Come see Sensi. I'll have goodie bag, you know, like that was my first, and I had a 2-week stand down. So I couldn't place orders. I didn't have any product. I didn't have testers. I didn't have a kit because they have different scents here. They have different plugs here. They have different everything here. So, and my shipping container took over 10 months to get here. So never mind that. But so I had to figure things out. There's an app called Meetup, and Meetup is an app where you go and find interests that you have. And there are people that meet up to do whatever this thing is, whether it's I do a coloring one or there's hiking or whatever interest you have. And there's networking ones and public speaking ones. There's lots of different ones. And I did it in New Zealand too. And it's a way for me to try to meet people because otherwise I'm not going to meet anybody. I also got a part-time job because I knew I had to get out of the house and meet people. Otherwise I would never meet anybody. So you have to, you know, I was taught when I came in that you should hand out 50 samples a month to strangers and 10 joint packets a month. And when you're in the habit of it, it works brilliantly. When you get out of the habit, it doesn't work, obviously. So that was something I had to get back in the habit of. But where I live, nobody's heard of Sensi. So I actually order a lot of catalogs because it's the only way to make it make sense for people. And, yeah, I've had to learn to make sure I'm always branded, to make sure my car has something on it, to make sure like as many things I can possibly control as possible. You know, I make sure I take minimum 3 sample packs when I leave the house, and I don't come back until they're handed out. And so when I earned the one incentive trip, I did half in region 3 and half in region 1. I was stoked. I just earned level 2 for Greece. And while it's only level 2, I am stoked because that still means I'm growing, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay. So, and every time I run a report of customers, there's more customer sheets. And I'm like, yay, I'm growing. So I am still feeling very much, it's like a scavenger hunt. Go set a goal. I'm going to find somebody with pink hair today. I'm going to find someone with a red purse today. I'm going to find somebody who's wearing a hat today. These are the people I'm going to give samples to and make their day and make them smile. I just tell my team, go out and make people smile. But one of the things you may have seen in the All Consultant page is the Tic Tacs. This was something my Superstar director talked about at leadership. There's a little label on the back of that, and I can send that too, but it says, we were meant to meet. Need some extra money? Join our wonderful group. And then it has a QR code, and it has all my details there. But when you hand things to people, they're not going to throw this away. So they're going to put it in their purse and they're going to keep it. And every time they open it or hand it to somebody else might read it. And you never know what can happen. You always want to hedge your bets. You always want to make sure that you're doing extra things. One of the other, let me quickly look. If you can't do parties for whatever reason, one of the people in your lovely country is tooling around in a caravan. So we're getting real creative on how she can work her business and do things like that. So, but it has been a real thing about connecting. Get back together with each other. Don't be jealous of each other. Don't be catty. Do things together and have fun. The more people feel that energy, the more they're going to want to be part of what you're doing and be part of what you're selling. You've heard it a million times. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. Well, if you're freaking Eeyore walking around all the time, nobody wants that. I'm sorry. You can love Eeyore all you want, but you don't want that living with you all the time, because you are going to always have a dark house. And I don't mean by the weather outside. I mean dark. So you need to be the light. You need to be the lighthouse. You need to be the smile. You need to be the joy. You need to have energy about you where people go, I am no Wendy Heath Newgas. Don't get me wrong. Definitely more pink than Wendy Heath Newgas. But I also know the power that I possess by having the right attitude, having the right energy, and going out and doing things, and with the intent of just making other people smile. Do you have a good follow-up system? Colette Gunnell, the co-creator of Scentsy, when's the last time you did your list of 100? I know that sounds stupid, but I just did it in one of my, I have a climbers group that I'm doing. And like, wherever you're spending money, you should be making money. So if you're spending money at the gym, or you're spending money at the coffee shop, or you're spending money at the fish and chip shop, are you leaving things there for people so that you can maybe make some money there? You should be. Go to your bank statements. Go figure out where you're spending money, and go figure out how to borrow them warmers, or lend them warmers. That's a better way to say that. Lend them warmers, or drop off samples, or do an appreciation basket with a bunch of samples for the staff, or whatever. Figure it out. Follow your money and go make some more money. Get your samples and catalogs ready to make new friends. Make sure that you never leave the house Scentsy naked. You always have something with you. I know in Australia it gets super duper hot, which is why I'll never live there. I'm sorry. I do like Canberra though. I didn't mind that. I love the city and how it's laid out. But don't you all be giving me weirdness. I can hear it from here. And use the products. Like when I go to other people's houses and they're Scentsy consultants, and they have other products by the sink, like hand soap and lotions, and I get lotions, but hand soaps and even other wax. I'm like, no, you hide that shit. Nobody wants to see that. So are you using your product? Because even that should keep you active. Just your laundry products, your wax, your fragrance flowers, your cleaning products, your laundry products, And if you're smart, you're getting them free and half price. Have your own open house for 2 days. The second day, so basically on the second day, maybe some of the ones from the first day are coming back or telling people, and they're bringing friends to the second day. Fundraisers, you guys are great at fundraisers, so do that. I'm just looking over notes of make your customers your friends and family. This is probably one of the best things that I learned a long time ago from Katie Farner, and it was I friend all my customers on Facebook. And the only way that they get to know me now, especially because most of my customers right now don't live anywhere near me, they live in other states, is because I connect and I compliment them on their pictures and I ask them about certain things and I engage with them on social media. As an introvert, is it exhausting? Yeah. Is it intentional? Yes. But I know I need to do it. Does it mean I don't care about them? Not at all. It's just I really have to take a focused, with ADHD, effort to like focus on people. So I'll set a timer and say for this many minutes I'm going to comment on other people's posts, and go from there. And you got to make time for them. You have to have fun. Don't be afraid to look silly or stupid. That's what gets the views. They want to see you being normal. If you're perfect all the time, nobody can relate to that. So fucking go live. Stop being afraid of going live. Stop it. Because in this day and age and how social media is, if you want to be seen, you have to go live. You have to do videos. You have to do something that makes you stand out of all the junk that's in your feed, right? You have to build those connections. So, one of the other things Jenna Odette does is she wears her Scentsy name badge, which some of us don't have those, but you could put something else there and wear it upside down. And anybody that tells you your name tag is upside down, you give them something. You can also wear a necklace with scent circles on them, and people will be nosy and ask you for that. Or I know somebody was doing the bar thing. The scent of the month was, they hung that around. In Australia, it's probably too damn hot for that. So, approximately 5 out of 100 people see your posts. Did you know that? I'm sure they're teaching you that there. Remember connectors. That's going to be my final thing. Even though Susie Q isn't a big shopper, she might know big shoppers. Or even if she's not interested in joining, she might know somebody, so she could connect you with somebody. So don't discount the ones that don't do anything. Same thing with team members. If you have a team member that's not really doing anything, but what if her friend joins her just on a whim, 2 o'clock in the morning decides to join, and turns out to be your director, your first director, or your second director, or your fourth director, or whatever. Remember, people are connected to other people. Wasn't it like not Lincoln Logs, Connects? Was it Lincoln Logs with the circles and the sticks? I can't remember. That's kind of what came to mind when I did that. So create an amazing culture. Step outside of your comfort zone every single time you leave the house and make someone smile. Always have Scentsy with you. Always be looking for opportunities to be around people, preferably doing things that you like to do so it's more natural. But force yourself. You can do hard things. You can be part of the next hyper growth where we are just balls to the walls, man. And it's coming. It's coming, and we want you to be a part of it. So thank you so much. I hope you got something out of this. It's been a pleasure. I wish I could be there, although I hear it's been really hot. It's still cold here. It was snowing the other day. So I'm in Wisconsin. And so, and really appreciate your leaders. They did this. It's a lot of work. And it's because they believe in you and see great potential in you and want to take this ride with you. So have a great rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend ahead. And I love you. And I'm sending you lots of love from Region 1.